Hi, it's Reverend Adam Eckhart, your friendly neighborhood senior pastor at the First United Church of Christ Congregational in Milford, Connecticut, and thank God it's Friday, October 3rd, 2025. This is a 5-minute video that I've been asked to make to summarize the streets I covered in September after instituting the Milford All Street Challenge, hiking or jogging all 195 to 250 miles, depending on who you talk to, of public streets in Milford. Here is the hoodie that Michelle made for me as part of our fall 2025 theme at the church, Our Neighborhood. You'll see me in a second as I am walking the streets. You'll then see some maps. Each day's map shows in green what streets I covered. There is so much beauty in Milford and so many neighborhoods to see. This is a map of the day I was confronted by cul-de-sac after cul-de-sac. I have seen many different businesses in town. I have already jogged by many of Milford's schools. One thing to note is that residential neighborhoods are delightful, but while I was hoping to be more contemplative and prayerful in my walks, no matter where I am, keeping safe always has to be my first priority. The Gulf Street Lower Weppawag neighborhood has some pretty houses. Then I went to Upper Morningside, and that has gorgeous views. That was a little detail of it. There's gorgeous views there. I also got to visit the Jordan Pearson Memorial Park, named after the Milford U.S. Marine who died in Iraq in 2006. Some days I covered two areas, like this day when I hit Sunnyside Court, and then I walked with my son David near the Audubon Society. This day is when I covered some areas north of Solomon's Woods. I need to get back to West River soon. Dead ends. This is the day that I explored Walker Pond, named after the former pastor of First Baptist Church in the 1960s and 70s. That's located kind of behind Milford Hospital. Now, September 18th, this day, was my longest jog so far, covering areas of Woodmont and the West Haven border on the banks of the Oyster River. The next day, I switched over to the other end of Milford, viewing the larger Housatonic River in River Cliff. There's a detail of it, thanks to my guides and hosts there. This day, I covered the Cedarhurst neighborhood. I walked over I-95, which dissects the town. I returned to Morningside to cover its lower half. And here's some video of me walking with the morning sun brightly shining. I covered some more territory between the hospital and Silver Sands, plus a small industrial area off Route 1 on Erna Avenue with some really interesting manufacturing businesses there. I walked around Bayview, by Gulf Beach and Oldfield Lane. And the next day, my colleague Curran Bishop and I covered some more ground near Robert Treat Parkway. Curran heard about the challenge and is also doing it. I've covered some ground near Foreign High School. There's me making a face. I traveled to Devon and I walked by Liberty Rock of American Revolution fame. I also saw some of the sound barriers between the streets there and I-95. This day I visited a parishioner, and then I strolled around some of Fort Trumbull Beach wearing sandals. And so I got to dip my toes down in the cool waters of Long Island Sound. Thank you, God, for Long Island Sound. On the 29th, I took part in the church golf tournament, so I didn't get to walk that day. But then on the last day of September, I covered some ground on opposite ends of town. First over in the Point Beach neighborhood, which is so beautiful. And then later in the day, I traveled over to the Milford Orange Line near Great River Golf Club. Let me say that the section of Wheeler's Farms Road that I carefully walked is the most dangerous stretch for pedestrians I have walked so far, and it is not even close. Here is a map that shows you all of the streets that I covered during the month of September. Speaking of not even close, September ending, I have hiked about 105 to 110 miles around Milford, but I've only netted about 70 to 80 miles of unique roads during that time. So I am not even close to finishing the challenge yet. There is more to come. Thanks to everyone who has walked with me given me tours, said hello, given me water when I looked pretty rough a couple miles into my hikes or jogs, and thanks to everyone who is praying for me. Blessings and peace to you, wherever your neighborhood is.